Tell us about yourself and your family, David. You and your wife moved to Chichester 2 years ago. Where from?
We actually moved from Plymouth to Emsworth in Hampshire. About myself, I actually was born and bred in the coastal city of Plymouth, and I'm married to Caroline. We married for 35 years, and I have 3 sons. I also lived in London prior to moving back to Plymouth, and then obviously came to Hampshire to be closer to children and grandchildren.
And you mentioned your 3 sons. Are they all offhand now?
Yes, they've all left home. They're all following successful careers, and so happy in their lives.
Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it?
Yes.
So, and David, you've had a very varied career. You've been an electrical engineer, police officer, including 20 years in the Met Special Branch, which sounds really interesting. And then you ran the management training company with your wife. So looking back, can you see a natural progression from one career to another? Or did you perhaps experience a eureka moment that inspired you to do something different?
It was a couple of moments, but if I start from the beginning, when I was at school, I've got to admit, I wasn't the greatest scholar, and I decided to leave school at 16, and decided, as the greatest employer in Plymouth in those days was the MOD and the dockyard, I decided to take an apprenticeship and become an electrical engineer. It was one of those things I just did. But after qualifying, getting my HNC, etc., I decided it wasn't the career for me. And it was a eureka moment then. I saw an advert in the newspaper for the police, and it's something that I'd never ever considered. I had no history of family in the police. Then I decided to join, and so I joined Devon and Cornwall Police. I was 21. So I did 2 or 3 years in Plymouth, and then another eureka moment. I decided that I didn't want to stay in Plymouth, and I transferred to London. So at 23 years old, I moved to London. I've been to London once before. I was posted to a West End Central Police Station just off Savile Row, and I was living in single men's quarters in Soho in the 1970s. So that was a eureka moment and an eye-opening moment for me. And the management training, that was a natural progression, because my last position in the Special Branch was in a training organisation where I got my teaching qualifications, and so it was natural to follow into a second career in management training.
So then you were back in Plymouth when you joined Rotary for the first time in 2007.
Yes.
That was the Rotary Club of Rowborough.
Yes.
So what was it that persuaded you to join Rotary?
I had more time on my hands because self-employed, sounds very hedonistic, but I was able to choose what work I took on, etc., what contracts we accepted, and I wanted to do some voluntary work. And it's surprisingly difficult to volunteer on occasions. There are many obstacles put in the way of volunteers. So I'd never heard of Rotary. This is one of my great things. Rotary is a great secret that nobody knows about. And I was reading the local newspaper, and there was a grip and grin photograph of the presidential handover. And I thought, they had a little bit on Rotary in the bottom, and so I did some research, and I thought, yes, that's maybe the organisation for me. It wasn't all one way, because I actually had moved back to Plymouth after 30 years. It immediately gave me a social circle of 40 friends as well. So that's when I decided to join Rotary. It gave me the opportunity of having new friends, and also the opportunity to do some service, because I like to be involved and get hands-on.
And you were very active in the Rowborough Club, weren't you? You were president, and I know you took on a number of other roles. So is there any particular period or project of which you're particularly proud, or which you remember specially?
There are 2. One was an event known as DAD, and it was run jointly with another organisation, which again I think is a great thing for Rotary, is to run events jointly with other organisations. It was an activity day on Plymouth Hoe, so DAD stood for Disabled Activity Day, and we were lucky enough to get the whole of Plymouth Hoe, and we had several thousand people there, and it's still going at the moment, enjoying sports, activities, and it was an event where people said what we can do and against what we can't do. So it was the able-bodied community and the disabled joining together and having a great day. So that's the first one I really, really enjoyed. And the second one I did with Caroline, my wife. We set up a memory cafe, which is a meeting place for people who suffer from dementia and their carers that can come together, they can talk, they can have activities, etc. And so we started that one up in north of Plymouth. So yeah, those two. But as I say, it's hands-on. I like to get my hands dirty and get involved.
Right. So tell me, in the memory cafe, did you do the washing up?
We had a dishwasher.
As well as your club responsibilities, you have taken on a number of district and also RIBI roles over the years. So tell us about those.
Yes, I'm going to say the usual thing, that I don't know how I got involved in district roles. You suddenly must learn the word no a bit more than the word yes. Yeah, my first experience of district was as the district club visioning officer. In fact, I was asked to be on the committee, but somehow I ended up leading it on my old district of 1290 in the West Country. So that was the first thing. And yeah, it's something I really believe in, club visioning. You might call me a zealot on it, because I think it serves so much purpose for clubs to have a look at themselves. So I did that, and also I did disaster coordination officer, so major flooding, etc. I was involved in that. And finally I became assistant governor in the year or so before I left. So yeah, those are the sort of main district roles I've taken on.
Right, so you were certainly hands-on and kept very busy.
The word yes is always there, that's the problem.
Until recently, David, you were working full-time, and you must have had family commitments as well as your Rotary roles. Was it difficult to juggle all these competing demands on your time?
Well, I think it's all about managing your time, and you're in the often quoted phrase that within Rotary it should be family first, business second, and then Rotary, because we're all volunteers. But as part of my enjoyment is actually I enjoy doing things, being out there. So yeah, so my relaxation is probably doing things. But no, it's just using your time wisely, etc. But there are times when you have to say no. I have to do things other with the family. But no, you can manage it.
Yeah, I think that's really great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that the thing is that a busy person can always find time to do more.
I think the phrase I keep hearing from my colleagues is, "How did we ever find time to work?"
Yes.
That's the thing since you
I've
retired.
heard that too, yes. So then you moved to Hampshire and you transferred to Chichester Priory Rotary Club. Have you found the two clubs are very different, or is it a bit of the same theme, different town kind of feeling?
My wife and I, Caroline is a Rotarian as well, so we visited several clubs around the area to see which one would fit. And I think not every Rotary club fits every person. And we felt that Chichester Priory was a good fit for us. It's larger than my old club because we have nearly 60 members, and that takes a lot of getting to know 60 new people. But yeah, so it was very much similar, but different. And yeah, we're settling in now, and I'm really enjoying being part of Priory Club.
That's great news. I think we are a great district and a great enlarged district now.
Yes, in fact, I'd like to say that the welcome that Caroline and I have received from district and at the conference here at Eastbourne has been fantastic. The friendliness of the people we've met has been tremendous. Because we were a bit apprehensive coming onto a new district, but the welcome has been, and it sounds like I'm being a bit, or whatever you want to call it, but it is actually really friendly.
Yes, well, I don't know if you've visited Rotary clubs in any other parts of the world. I have, and before I went, I was told, well, wherever you go, you'll be amongst friends. But I've always found that very true.
Yes. When we were running the training company, we were in a hotel on our own. We always made a point of going to Rotary clubs. There's no point in sitting in a hotel having dinner on your own. And when we go abroad, I've been to Rotary clubs in Peru, South Africa, Iceland, Germany, etc. And the welcome you get is tremendous, and you are looked after. Rotary is a great worldwide family, and yeah,
it is
fantastic.
Yes, absolutely fantastic. So, David, you are our district governor nominee for the year after next.
Yes, 1819.
Yes. So, what will your main responsibilities be?
Well, I see firstly it's supporting Frank, the DG, this year, and then supporting James Onions in his preparations for his year. And then getting my process set in stone, getting the people in posts, etc. So I think this is the most difficult thing, is getting people onto district. And and I think district can be such a help to clubs, and I just want people to realise that. It is mainly supporting my two predecessors and then putting myself in place.
And with all your different career paths that you followed, you must have developed a lot of skills and you have a lot of experience. So what do you think from your career that will help you, in your Rotary role?
Well, firstly, I like to enjoy myself. People who know me, I think the more you smile, the more you're enjoying it. I like to have a laugh and a joke. There are times to be serious, but it is that enthusiasm. I actually love Rotary. I think the organisation is too good an organisation to lose, so I'm a great one for that. And yes, organisational. As a police officer, you have to be organised. You have to make decisions. You can't please everybody all of the time, but at some stage somebody has to make a decision. So yes, I can do that. And I also like to listen. I think we have to listen. When I'm running training courses, we were given 2 ears. The phrase is 2 ears or 1 eye, so we should listen twice as much as we talk. And I think if we listen, and I think as district officers, we should be listening to clubs and we should be listening to Rotarians to see what they want from us.
Thank you, David. Just one final question. In a few words, can you sum up what inspires you about Rotary today?
A few words. I think it's the good. Listening to, we're obviously doing this at the conference at Eastbourne, is listening to the speakers, the things that Rotary does in this country and abroad. It is just, there is such a capacity to help. We have the vocational skills, we have the time. And I think, I keep going back, and Rotary has such a great reputation. I think when we were doing the Slake actions when I was back in Plymouth, people come and say, yeah, Rotary, we trust you. We know you do good. And but again, we need to get that message out there, what we do. We mustn't be afraid to say, look at us, we're Rotarians, we do a good job, come and join us. And I think we shouldn't be shy about that anymore.
Thank you very much, David.
Thank you. You're welcome.